The F1 community, as we know, is a very interesting bunch. It's very diverse with old people who try so hard to make me care about the 1967 season, and the new fans who try so hard to make me care about made up rivalries that don't exist. But among these differences, there is one thing that unites us all: terrible takes. Terrible takes, or hot takes, are common among every community. So, with the season over, I thought we could pass time by seeing some of my community's hot takes. Along with this, I'll put my own hot takes towards the end of the video. So, let me explain how we're gonna do things today. A couple days ago, I sent out a message on my YouTube and to my Discord server asking you all to put your hot takes for a chance of being in this video. After selecting the hot takes from these, I'm either going to agree with you or disagree with you. So essentially, I'm right and you're either right too or wrong. So let's begin, but before we go any further, don't forget to join the Discord where we have lots of fun on there, and subscribe if you're new if you love pointing and laughing at people until it's you. So enough yapping and let us see some of your hot takes. Let's start with the hot take submitted by people on the YouTube community post. First up, I think Lando Norris grew a lot as a competitor this year, specifically after hitting rock bottom after Brazil, and deserves a clean slate for next year. Now I, as a D1 Lando Norris hater, want to say I disagree and this guy is washed, but truthfully, this guy's kinda right. We did see improvement in him throughout the season, especially after Brazil like they say, and I already said it once in my last video, but again, we should keep an eye on him for next year since he will be a new man compared to last year if he's learned anything. When Lando actually locks in and doesn't let pressure take control of him, he's one of, if not the best driver on the grid, so I agree with this take. Carlos Sainz will carry that Williams to a podium finish. No, that Williams is a hog, and even James AEIOU agrees too, since there are clips of him saying 23, 24, 25, they're just filler years and 26 is their year. Maybe in 2026 he will, but for 2025, I just cannot see how it will be possible. And also, carry? Nah, I'm also an avid Albon hater, but even I can see that he won't be dominated by Carlos Sainz. Albon has learned a lot since 2020, and even if he will be outqualified and outraced by Sainz, to say he will get dominated or carried is a little ridiculous. So I disagree with this, and I'm right once again. I think at least 2 of the 6 rookies next year will fail to live up to expectations and either be a lame duck or be kicked out early. Now, I don't know if a lame duck is supposed to be an insult to me or not, but I half agree with this. Something about sports is that the level and talent of players always increase. Crazy, I know, but seriously, if someone like, let's say, Jack Doohan were to enter the sport in like 1974 and also knows how to drive those cars perfectly, he would be like a 5-time world champion. That's also why we can never truly compare drivers from different generations, because truly, it's not fair. But back on topic, I do think there will be a couple rookies flopping next year because, like this person also says, 6 Piastris are pretty unlikely, but the rookies who will flop I don't think will do that bad. I just think they will maybe perform below expectations but do nothing super horrible or super bad. So I kinda agree and disagree with this one. After 2025, Max will retire because of his family. I can totally see this happening, since, I mean, there's really not much to say with this one. Max has said that he wants to be there for his family and doesn't want to be racing in the middle of that, which is totally fair. Plus, I would like to imagine he doesn't want to get hit with the line like what Alonso said about Michael that one time. So yeah, I could see this happening. A counter argument, I guess, could be that he would be curious about 2026, but like, come on, the man is a 4-time world champion and will probably end up with 70 plus wins and maybe a 5th title. That's more than enough for anyone. So yeah, I agree with this one. Gasly is the 3rd best driver on the grid given the right car. Now first up, 2021 Gasly is probably the metric used here, since to those who never witnessed 2021 Gasly, be thankful. The man was a different demon. He was putting the 5th fastest car in like 4th, 5th, and 6th place, and was a different beast when it came to overtaking. Anyways, I disagree with this statement. Yes, we have seen Pierre cook others, but in a grid that currently has Verstappen, Leclerc, Hamilton, Russell, and Stroll, I don't think Pierre is up there yet, but for sure he's a top 6 driver given the right machinery. But overall, I disagree with this one. Yuki Tsunoda has the ability to take over Max Verstappen's permanent seat after Max retires. No, look, I love Yuki. He's a really underrated driver who knows how to cook, but like, taking over the Max Verstappen? Nah, Yuki simply doesn't have that dog in him like Max does. I mean, even at the same team, Max was finishing 4th place in a group with Prime Lewis, Prime Rosberg, Prime Vettel, and what was the 5th fastest car at times, while Yuki, with the same relative performance, especially at the beginning of the season, was finishing 7th place at best. This is not to discredit Yuki, but he doesn't even touch Max with a 200-foot pole, so yeah, I disagree with this one. Carlos will get a podium with Williams getting 7th in the championship too. Real talk, am I the only one who thinks that people really overrate Carlos? Like, don't get me wrong, he's really good, but some people on TikTok would have you believing he's like the smartest driver ever with his apparent engineering degree and super knowledge and strategy. Anyways, I again disagree with this for the same reasons as before. Williams don't care about next year, but I will say that I could see them getting 7th next year, but overall, I disagree with this one. As much as I love it, Lewis Hamilton moving to Ferrari wasn't necessary. Carlos was giving consistently good results and was capable of fighting for a title next year. Now this, I actually agree with, but it's with a twist. It's Lewis fucking Hamilton. That's like if Liverpool rejected Messi in order to keep Luis Diaz. Like, Diaz is good, great even, and does the job for the team consistently, but come on, it's Lionel fucking Messi. But I do agree with the take of Sainz was doing his job well and didn't really deserve to be sacked. But again, Lewis Hamilton. If it's possible, then it's necessary. Plus, I don't think he had a shot at the title next year, so you know what? I disagree with this statement actually. Personally think that Perez shouldn't have been in contention for a Red Bull seat 4 years ago. Just think about it. In a car that was easily the 2nd best car that year, him and Stroll did not completely drive the wheels off the car and managed to finish behind McLaren. If anything, they could have hired someone like Hülkenberg, but now they are stuck in this situation where they have lost the Constructors title to McLaren, then the 2nd place spot to Ferrari because Perez wasn't pushing. Now I flat out disagree with this since this reeks of recency bias to me. Speaking of biases, remember, I am Mexican, so I am inherently biased towards this topic. But anyways, yeah, I disagree. The RP20 was not the 2nd fastest car, it was the 3rd fastest car with a sizable gap to Red Bull in 2nd, and in terms of results, I think Checo did really well. He was constantly in the top 5 that season, made amazing moves, and drove insanely consistent, especially with the tires. It was unfortunately a person like Stroll was employed, because had it been literally anyone else, they would have been 3rd in the Constructors easily, so I think Checo more than deserved the Red Bull seat at the time, and yeah, I disagree. Senna is overrated. This is the one I always see thrown around, and can I say it, chat? I agree. Now, don't get me wrong, he is one of the best to ever do it, but like the original poster said, people treat him like some sort of god in F1, and I just can't see it. This guy gaslit everyone to believing that stupid dive bombs was passion or whatever, and with the way people speak about him, you would think he won races by 10 plus seconds all the time and crushed any sort of competition like Michael or Lewis has done. Again, for sure, a top 5 driver of all time, but he is not an F1 god, so I agree with this one. Russell is overhated and underrated. I half agree with this one. In my opinion, George doesn't do himself justice when it comes to his likability. No one likes hall monitors, and he gives off that energy massively. Plus, he has a tendency to victimize himself when in front of the media, and like Max said, he is kinda two-faced. Now for the other statement, and I fully agree, Russell is insanely underrated. He won a lot in the junior categories and was not always one of the fastest, he was the fastest, and it's no surprise that Toto is all in love with George. He is stupid quick, and now that he is starting to seem more at ease with pressure, he can genuinely mount a title charge any year now, and it should come to no one's surprise when it happens. Anyways, again, I half agree with the statement. The 2010 German Grand Prix team order scandal was a bigger sporting scandal than Abu Dhabi 2021. I disagree with this one since I think they are equal. Both cases saw the result of the race essentially fixed by breaching the rules, which also indirectly influenced the championship result. Now, even though Alonso never won 2010, he was still very close within it, and it's not crazy to say that his chances of winning it were influenced by Germany. So I disagree with this one since I don't think one is worse than the other. Russell and Norris both have the talent of a world champion, but don't have the mindset nor the ability to work under pressure. My verdict is, who the hell knows? That sort of stuff comes with maturity, and whether they develop that maturity is up to the person. It doesn't matter how many learning opportunities show up in someone's life. If they aren't willing to open up and actually learn, then they don't learn. So it's really up to them if they'll ever reach that point of maturity. But as it stands, I do agree with the statement with the exception of George for a reason said previously. Adrian Newey will not be the silver bullet for Aston Martin in 2026 everyone thinks he'll be. I also agree with this one. Like Senna, people will have you believe this guy's like the messiah of car development. Yes, he is a super genius, but one hire isn't going to be the reason Aston jumped from 5th to 1st. If Adrian is going to help that team, then he will need the resources to cook, and even then, age is creeping up on him and he will probably start showing some rust in his cooking. So yeah, I agree with this statement. Stroll is underrated. Yeah, he's kinda mid, but he managed to match Alonso for a good while this year, and 2021 Stroll was super consistently in the points and a tractor. Now, while yes, he has matched Alonso here and there and did kinda taint Seb's legacy while they were teammates, I fully disagree, man. Come on, it's Lance Stroll. I doubt he even cares about F1 at all and probably is there to pass time and not race. When Stroll does good, yeah, he performs, but so often does he just not do good and it's complete and utter garbage. So until he is consistently good, I disagree. And finally, I think Oscar Piastri is overrated. He's been outqualified 20-4, now got 1 pole while Lando's got 8. Next year, I believe Lando will be world champion and Oscar will barely keep 4th position in the standings. Geez, someone's not liked. To say Piastri is overrated? Maybe, but to say he will really struggle compared to Lando? I don't know, maybe 2. I really don't know what to make of this because Oscar has shown to be mighty rapid and not caring of the media, but he has shown slip-ups in his performances compared to Lando. So again, I just don't know how to feel with this one. This one truly stumped me. Now for my Discord take submitted by you guys. Also, please join it. Let's start with a very common discussion amongst F1 fans. Genghis Khan would have been the GOAT of F1. Alright dude, bro's a master strategist. He built the biggest empire ever by outsmarting everyone. Therefore he doesn't need strategists and can just choose when to pit himself, saving time, money, and doing a 20-place undercut every race. He was also super fast. The Mongol cavalry were the fastest transport on land back then. If he could dominate the steppes with horses, he could definitely drive an F1 car. His mental game was insane. Bro never gave up and found a way to win. He has world champion aura. I mean, it speaks for itself, honestly. Fully agree with this one. Okay, now for serious ones. Monaco should not be on the F1 calendar, and neither should Singapore or Abu Dhabi. Again, half agree. Monaco is Monaco, man. You can't get rid of it no matter how bad the racing is. It's a crown jewel, and not only would F1 not be the same without it, motorsport wouldn't be the same without it. And I think by removing it, a large part of motorsport's legacy goes with it. Now as for Singapore and Abu Dhabi, yeah, they could fuck right off. I don't care. So yeah, half agree. Next year is our year. House Stark has winter is coming, and House Idiots have next year is our year. And you know what? I agree. Hear me out. Leclerc is going to lock in like never before because of Lewis's arrival, and he will prove to everyone why he is hyped up by every Ferrari fan. And also, Lewis will be insanely good and won't cause any sort of problems, and all of this will lead to double titles for Ferrari. And yeah, next year is our year. Leclerc would have won the 2022 championship if Ferrari didn't fuck him over every race and the car stayed at the same level of performance in the second half. I know I just glazed Ferrari, but you know what? I disagree. Now I do definitely think he would have fought longer, but I don't think he would have won simply because he was mentally unfit anyways to push for the title. Max in 2021 had 7 years of being in the sport and honing his abilities at the front of the field, while Charles only had 5 years, and most of them were away from the front of the field. So who's to say a France 2022 wouldn't have happened anyways regardless of Ferrari's mishaps or not? Maybe I'm pessimistic, but yeah, I disagree. Lewis Hamilton will be the number 2 driver in Ferrari by the halfway point of the season. I think his prime is over and he's basically now on Bottas's level when he was at Mercedes. Again, half agree. Lewis is not Bottas's level right now. He still has that dog in him to perform, but has been massively affected by Mercedes' mishaps. But I could see him being the Ferrari number 2, especially if Charles really is the demon I am painting him to be. So yeah, nothing else to say other than I half agree. Alonso is only a 2-time champion because of luck. I disagree with this since you could say this about any champion if you have a strong enough agenda. I can say that Lewis in 2017 won the championship through luck because Ferrari were inconsistent plus Singapore, or Seb in 2012 was lucky because Ferrari didn't build a strong enough car and was lucky with the tight grid allowing for multiple winners. If the agenda is strong enough, then anyone is lucky to have won the title, so I disagree. Aaron, Vesti, and Colapinto are better than Andrea, Money, and Antonelli. Now this is coping. Antonelli has speedran the Formula One ladder through sheer talent and nothing else. Yes, he has financial backing, but so does Lando Norris, so does Max Verstappen, so does literally everyone who makes it in one way or the other. Aaron Vesti and Colapinto aren't bad drivers, far from it, but Antonelli is respectfully better, so I disagree. Alonso is better than Hamilton, goes through their primes as well. Talk to me when Fernando has 7 titles. Even if he got 11 more points throughout certain seasons, he would still have less wins and titles as Lewis. Yes, Lewis had more dominant cars, but Alonso has less patience, which have led him to making awful career decisions. They are certainly amazing drivers, but I disagree with this take. Everyone that says F1 is the pinnacle of motorsport and hate on other forms like NASCAR or Indy, but then start crying and shitting when someone says F1 isn't a real sport, should be put in one of these. I have nothing else to say other than I agree, F1 elitists suck, so moving on. Ocon is underrated and overrated. Just like with Russell, I half agree. I think he also doesn't do himself justice with the way he acts, especially with how he thinks he can do no wrong and it's only him in the world, but he is also really underrated since this guy's junior career and racing career in general is stacked and he has heaps of talent. So yeah, just like with Russell, half agree. McLaren bro Sadie sooner or later. Totally agree. If Piastri locks in and stops screwing up, then these two will for sure get into some feisty battles. I don't think it will be identical to Lewis and Nico, but it could be something similar, and either way, I will be seated. So I agree. Unless the Aston is quick next season, Alonso should retire since his rep is getting ruined. You know what? I agree. What's the point of staying in the sport if you know the car will be booty all the time? Like, I want him to do good and get the 33rd, but Aston right now don't look to be making any meaningful progress, and time spent here is only going to further skew his stats. So I think he should retire soon if Aston stay ass. So yeah, I agree with the statement. Alex Jakes is a shitty commentator. Hey, we do not tolerate Alex Jakes slander in this bitch. What Crofty makes up an exciting commentary, Alex Jakes makes up an unbiased commentary. Sky Sports sometimes is so draining with their agendas, and at least the F1 TV people have informative commentators, and Julian Palmer, who try to be as unbiased as possible. So I disagree, get with the program. Lando won every single race because of the car, no skill involved. Come on man, you know this ain't true. This is just like that Alonso Luck one. Any winner won because of the car, no skill involved. Lewis won races because the car was so good. Max won races because the car was so good. At the end of the day, Lance Stroll is a bitch-ass driver, and to say Lando only won because of the car after masterclasses like Zandvoort or Abu Dhabi is a bit ridiculous, so I disagree with the statement. And finally, Rick's F1 addiction is better than Formula Duck. Well, I guess I have to kill him now. Alright, now that I'm done with your trash ass takes, time for my hot takes, and I'll give 3 of them. First, like I said in my post asking you guys for yours, Lewis Hamilton next year at Ferrari will be a new beast despite being a number 2 driver. Secondly, the 2017 to 2021 regs were absolute garbage and quality merchants. And finally, most IndyCar and WEC drivers will do really well in F1. And those were your hot takes. Short outro, but moral of the story is, I'm right and you're wrong. Anyways, I want to give a quick shout out to all members of the flock for their continued support. And remember, if you want to see videos early and get some more cool benefits, make sure to join it since it also really helps me out. Anyways, if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe for better content. And make sure to let me know in the comments more of your takes. And as always, have an amazing day.
Good weather for the duck.